TikTok, the short form video content app with over 170 million active users in the United States, is on the verge of being banned on January 19th. The ban comes into effect after TikTok's China-based owner, ByteDance, refused to comply with the US government's demand that it divest and sell TikTok over concerns that the Chinese government was using the app to spy on Americans. Welcome back. In this video, I will discuss what a TikTok ban would mean for Americans and also examine the arguments for and against the highly controversial ban. First, I want to look at some of the background on TikTok itself and the incremental restriction of the app that has now resulted in a likely nationwide ban. Let's start with some of the history of short-form video content and its evolution over the years. Of course, you can't talk about the rise of short-form content without mentioning Vine, which was released originally in 2013 and quickly grew into one of the most popular apps at the time. Vine allowed users to post 6-second looping videos that led to the rise of numerous popular memes and formats that persist even today. Vine also led to the rise of prominent social media figures like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Cody Ko, David Dobrik, and many others who have found prominence on other platforms. In 2014, a China-based app called Musical.ly released and followed a similar format like Vine by allowing users to post up to 60-second lip-synced music videos. Within 2 years, it was also one of the largest and fastest growing platforms and established the use of music to accompany user-generated content. Musical.ly's rise eventually led to the fall of Vine, which shut down in 2017. Around this time, the China-based company ByteDance wanted to expand its app Douyin internationally. In late 2017, ByteDance created TikTok as the international version of Douyin and subsequently launched it. TikTok would quickly grow and explode in popularity. ByteDance also purchased Musical.ly in November of 2017, with the two apps officially merging under the TikTok name in August of 2018. TikTok moved short-form vertical video content into mainstream popular culture in ways that Vine and Musical.ly had not done. TikTok's popularity over the years has led to the rise of other competitors, such as Instagram and Facebook Reels, which were released in 2020, YouTube Shorts, which were released in 2021, and all of these platforms now aim to hook their users and keep their attention on the apps to generate ad revenue so that the longer a user is scrolling mindlessly through the endless short-form content, the more money these corporations make. Concerns have been raised for years about TikTok's data collection policies. The company is known for collecting a wide range of user data, all of which is included in its privacy policy. This information that TikTok collects is as follows, and I am quoting directly from their policy. Information about the device you use to access the platform, such as your IP address, user agent, mobile carrier, time zone settings, identifiers for advertising purposes, model of your device, the device system, network type, device IDs, your screen resolution and operating system, app and file names and types, keystroke patterns or rhythms, battery state, audio settings, and connected audio devices. We automatically assign you a device ID and user ID. Where you log in from multiple devices, we will be able to use information such as your device ID and user ID to identify your activity across devices. TikTok also collects information about your approximate location. Although its policy claims it no longer collects precise or approximate GPS information from US users, and this change was made in response to the privacy concerns raised around that time by the US government. TikTok isn't the only app that collects broad amounts of user data. Many of the apps and services we use daily collect and sell our data to third-party brokers who fill your inbox with spam and put your identity at risk of being stolen if those third-party sites are hacked. That's why I use Incogni. Incogni is a personal data removal service that puts in removal requests for you at those third-party brokers, saving you time and helping protect your data, cutting down on spam, and reducing your risk of identity theft. Incogni will send dozens of removal requests within minutes of creating your account, resolving many within hours, and saving you valuable time. In addition, Incogni provides detailed information on the various sites they're working to remove you from while ranking them based on how risky they are. Using my link in the description below, you can save 58% on yearly plans from Incogni, paying only $75 for a year of individual coverage or only $166 for a year of family coverage that protects you and up to 3 others with all the benefits that Incogni offers. You can also get 16% off Incogni's monthly plan if you just want to try it out on a short-term basis. If you're unsatisfied with the results, Incogni provides a 30-day money-back guarantee. So, hit that link in the description and protect yourself and those you love from the dangers of data brokers. Now, let's get back to the video. This broad data collection by TikTok has raised national security concerns about how and if that data is being shared with the Chinese government. While the Chinese government only owns 1% of a subsidiary that invests in ByteDance, the fact that ByteDance is a China-based company means that it is subject to numerous Chinese government demands. The most notable is a series of laws that compels technology companies to assist Chinese intelligence agencies by providing collected data if China demands it based on their own alleged national security concerns. The possibility of user data being turned over to Chinese intelligence services led to the US Army and US Navy banning TikTok on official devices to protect sensitive data in 2019. President Donald Trump first floated a nationwide ban, though it failed to gain significant traction at the time. However, this led to broad reviews and investigations into TikTok's data collection. In December 2022, President Joe Biden signed the No TikTok on Government Devices Act into law. It is relatively self-explanatory, but it banned TikTok on all government-issued devices and required its removal from devices that had already been installed on to protect sensitive government data. This shows just how serious the concerns over TikTok's data collection have become. These concerns culminated in early 2024 when President Biden signed the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act into law in April. The law requires ByteDance to sell TikTok and divest itself of the app to remove the possibility of any Chinese collection of American data, with China being the foreign adversary from which Americans are being protected. While the law explicitly states that TikTok and ByteDance are the targets of this, there is a provision in the law that allows the president to determine any app controlled by a, quote, foreign adversary to be a national security risk subject to being banned or requiring that app to be divested from to remain online in the United States. In this case, these, quote, foreign adversaries are explicitly named in a different section of U.S. law and include North Korea, China, Russia, and Iran. So, any apps owned by companies based in those nations could be subject to a future ban under this law. While not explicitly called a ban, the law will essentially end TikTok as we know it. ByteDance has until January 19th to sell TikTok, and if they don't, it will be removed from things such as Google Play, the App Store, and any other place where you download mobile apps. It will also be unavailable in any desktop format, and online hosting services will no longer be able to carry it. Currently, TikTok is challenging the ban in the Supreme Court as of the making of this video. Still, it does not appear that the law will be overturned, nor does it seem that ByteDance will be given an extension to divest from TikTok. So, what will a ban actually look like? Starting on January 19th, you cannot download TikTok anymore if you're in the United States. There are workarounds, such as using a VPN to change your device location to download it, or you could jailbreak your device to get the app. if you already have it downloaded, it's unclear what will happen. When TikTok was banned in India, users were given an error message when accessing the app. But another possibility is that TikTok can be used but won't be able to be updated, meaning that it will slowly degrade as its security isn't changed and the app becomes vulnerable. The app's stability will likely worsen over time and ultimately will not be compatible with most devices after some time. It will not be illegal for US citizens to access TikTok. It will just be more challenging. Most notably, those who make any money from TikTok in the United States will no longer be able to receive payments from their monetized content. I now want to consider the pros and cons of the ban. First, let's examine the arguments for a TikTok ban. The biggest reason the ban has been pushed for so many years is over the alleged threat to national security TikTok poses. As I discussed earlier, TikTok collects an immense amount of user data that could potentially be compelled to share with the Chinese government, although it's unclear if this has ever actually occurred. This is why the ban of TikTok from government devices was considered so important early on. There are also concerns that China could manipulate TikTok to interfere in US elections or to promote unrest in the United States or spread misinformation and disinformation, posing an even further risk. It's long been believed that TikTok's algorithm is its most valuable asset. Another argument for a ban is the amount of misinformation on the platform that can be used to radicalize or otherwise influence people's opinions or behaviors, further feeding the overarching national security risk the app is believed to pose. In my opinion, misinformation alone shouldn't really be a reason for banning an app. Otherwise, we might as well ban Twitter while we're at it. Now, for the cons. One of the arguments against the ban is that TikTok is no more intrusive than many other domestic apps regarding data collection. Most of us have probably experienced targeted advertising because companies like Google track our interest and search histories to place ads on which we're likely to click. How often have you been thinking or talking about purchasing something to then be followed up with an ad for that item or something very similar right after? This happens all the time because of targeted advertising. Privacy protection has long been lacking online. So that's why services like Incogni and VPNs have become so popular for scrubbing or hiding your data. Google collects more data than TikTok, but it isn't based in China and doesn't have to cooperate with Chinese intelligence services, and is therefore overlooked for its data collection policies. Another argument against a ban is the economics of a ban. Many businesses use the app to promote themselves, and of course, hundreds of creators likely make a living off posting TikTok content. While many creators have expanded across various platforms, a ban could financially burden those individuals. How that economic impact affects the economy broadly will remain to be seen, and unfortunately, I don't think too many people will be upset about content creators being unable to make money online. The final argument, and the most important, is the precedent set by this ban. I personally get apprehensive whenever I hear the words ban and government used in the same sentence. This is no different. While we can have broad debates about the negative consequences of social media, misinformation, data collection, and other topics related to TikTok and other forms of social media, I never like or advocate for banning such things just because we don't like the negative consequences. While the security concerns about TikTok are legitimate, I feel that an outright ban should be opposed on the very basis of believing in our First Amendment rights to free speech by posting onto apps such as TikTok without restriction, and also in our freedom of association to use apps like TikTok, even when our speech contains misinformation or we consume misinformation and put our own data at risk. In addition, TikTok and ByteDance have not been proven to have been sharing information with the Chinese government, which raises questions about violating those companies' right to due process by essentially banning the app with no proven wrongdoing. The solution to these issues is for consumers to be more broadly thoughtful about their social media consumption and internet usage. Our information is out there for everyone, whether we realize it or not. TikTok, or things such as the recent scandal around the Honey extension, emphasize how our online world, on just the surface web, is constantly at risk from even legitimate companies. We often hear about major data breaches as well, which is why I encourage you to use VPNs and data removal services like Incogni to better protect yourself from malicious actors. At this point, the government doesn't appear inclined to come to our aid via regulations, so we have to do it ourselves. People are also now moving to apps other than TikTok. Notably, many have been moving to another Chinese app called RedNote, which heavily restricts your free speech and expression and bans things related to the LGBT community or things like the Tiananmen Square massacre that reflect poorly on the Chinese Communist Party. You also can't even post memes of President Xi Jinping looking like Winnie the Pooh without getting banned. So, it will be interesting to see if RedNote finds itself in the crosshairs under the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act as well, and eventually is subject to a ban sometime in the not-so-distant future. TikTok's days are likely not over. The January 19th deadline to divest for ByteDance was strategically chosen to occur the day before any change in administration on January 20th, since the president has the power to give them an additional 90 days to divest. President-elect Donald Trump has indicated that he does not want TikTok banned, but his options will be limited if the ban goes into effect on the 19th as planned, and will likely require Congress to work to repeal the ban if it's going to be removed. It will be interesting to see what happens in the next few days, weeks, and months when it comes to TikTok. Let me know your thoughts on the TikTok ban below, and I'll see you on the next one.